Hello, friends. This is Dan Crain coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. I work for a nonprofit called REMERGE. And to answer the question, what inspires me to give back and what is my giving story? Well, really, what for me personally, what inspires me to give back is not so much giving, but learning to receive from those on the margins. And back in 2009, I just graduated from a seminary, and I was down in Orlando, Florida, really struggling with what I was going to do with my life, and trying all sorts of different churches and ministries, and I got involved with a ministry called Compassion Corner, and it was a ministry to those on the margins. And at the same time, I was starting to work for Polis, and they wrote a training called Dignity Serves, and my efforts to help those on the margins really was just one way. And it was about me trying to solve and to fix their issues because I really thought I knew what was best for people. And then I took Dignity Serves, and I realized that the way I was helping people was really rooted in my codependency and in my narcissism, and really, and if I had to be honest, it was about making myself feel good. And I was serving out of my family of origin. And then I took Dignity Serves, and Dignity Serves' key concept is this concept of dignified, interdependent relationships, and truly living out reconciliation with those on the margins. REMERGE, we use the language of joining lives all the time because for us that best captures the picture of what it means. And so I remember the first time after I got done leading a Bible study at this ministry that was serving the homeless, I invited a new friend, to pray for me. And this friend was staying on the streets, and he kind of looked at me, and his eyes lit up, his mouth dropped open, and he said, "Yeah, of course, I'd love to pray for you," and took out his notepad, wrote my name down in the prayer request, and then 2 weeks later, I saw him, and he said, "Hey, Dan, I've been praying for you." And in that moment, I realized something beautiful had just happened. The image of God, the divine spark had just awoken in him, that he no longer was just a recipient, he was now the giver. And so within REMERGE, within our communities, reciprocity is a norm for us. It's a practice for us of giving and receiving. And Dignity Serves calls it this concept, dignified interdependence. And for me, I've experienced the joy of what it means to receive from those on the margins. And this is a deeply personal thing for me because my mom just passed away this past summer. And one of the guys that has comforted me the most is my friend Larry. He's been living on the streets for about 20 years. And when my mom first went into the hospital back in March, I went out and sought out Larry. And sitting behind the Napa Auto Parts, I'm sitting on the wall where they hang out, and I'm weeping like a baby. And Larry and his friends put their hands on me and start praying over me. And they thanked God for the fact that He is with us. And in that moment, I realized it's one thing to be comforted by the body of Christ. It's an entirely other to be comforted by those who actually live in the valley of the shadow of death. And it gave me perspective that my friends are making it, I can make it too. And it just was such a beautiful moment of learning to give and to receive. And so for me, what inspires me to give back is the joy of learning to receive from those on the margins. And I truly am a better person. And so this is really what REMERGE, we're trying to call the church and trying to call the world to, is the joy of joining our lives with those on the margins. And once you join lives, you can live out a dignified, interdependent relationship where that person you may look down upon, well, they are given the place of honor. They are given the place that allowing to give back to you. And so for me, there's a joy in that. And that's why I feel like you should give to REMERGE.